All of these questions are really long, so I've got to read them. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's great to be back from my 10-day hiatus. Today I'm excited to bring you the Author Origins Story Tag. This tag was created by Evie Driver, and I believe that she created this tag at around the same time that the latest Marvel movie just came out. And so all of these questions really follow a superhero kind of theme. So without further ado, let's get into this tag. Question number 1 is backstory.
The ceremony is necessary for you to take your place in the world.
When and why did you start writing? How old were you, and in which genres did you begin writing? I started writing when I was 8 years old because my older sisters used to tell me stories, and at one point they had actually recorded a cassette tape where they had made up their own story, and they each did different voices for the characters in this cassette tape, and they spent days recording it. I remember distinctly that they used flower pots on a book cover to make the sound of horses galloping, and then they rolled out the red carpet, aka pink towel, for my little sister and I, and they had made up this bed with plush pillows and grapes and all kinds of delicious hors d'oeuvres for our enjoyment, and we listened to this cassette tape. I was always fascinated by storytelling, especially because of the storytelling abilities of my sisters, and when they decided that they were going to actually write stories, I was like, oh, that's brilliant, why didn't I think of that? And I started writing stories and none of them stuck to it. It was just kind of like a fun phase that they went through that lasted a couple of weeks, and then all of their stories just kind of, they abandoned them. And I continued to write, and I'm still writing to this day. And the genre that I started writing in was fantasy. The first book I ever wrote was about a mermaid. So, there you go. Question number 2, protagonist.
You're the spiderling, crime-fighting spider. You're Spider Boy?
Spider-Man.
What was your first main character like, and have your tastes or muses changed since then? So my first main character ever was a mermaid princess by the name of Lissy. She was your average typical Disney princess character. She had an animal sidekick, which was a dolphin named Polly that she had saved from a coral reef. She was sweet and gentle and kind to all and exceedingly beautiful. So have my tastes in main characters changed since then? Yes. My main protagonist now is kind of a clumsy character. She has really crazy wild bushy hair, and she can be a little bit stubborn, not exactly typical Disney princess. I like to think that my characters are a lot stronger of characters now. They're more flawed, and I like them to be a little bit more relatable. So that's how that's changed. Question number 3, antagonist.
And now it's here. Or should I say, I am.
What's the worst writing advice or feedback you have ever received? And what was your first rejection or confidence-breaking experience like? I can't think of what my worst writing advice was, because I always take writing advice with a grain of salt anyways. In my opinion, there's no one right way to write a story. It's all just about tell a good story. A lot of it is just going to be about styling and things like that. So I can't say I've ever received bad advice on storytelling. I mean, maybe when I took a creative writing class in college, I'm sure some people gave me bad feedback, but I don't remember it. If it's bad, I just like toss it from my mind and don't remember it. So if I ever received bad writing advice, I can't remember what it was. As for my first confidence-breaking experience, it was definitely when I took a creative writing class in college for the first time. I went in there assuming that I was a really good writer and that I was gonna blow everybody out of the water, and that did not happen. My creative writing teacher was not a fan of the way I told stories, but to be fair, I was not a fan of the way she told stories either. Our styles just clashed a little bit. Obviously, I've learned a lot since then, and I think given the same opportunity, I would be able to take more from it. Even somebody whose writing style I don't really like, I think I still would have been able to learn from that teacher. But unfortunately I was young and naive and stubborn back then, and I did not learn what I probably could have from that teacher, and it did break my confidence because I realized, oh my gosh, I'm actually not that good at writing, and I still feel that way to this day, but I just don't care anymore. In my mind, I'm like, it doesn't matter if I'm a bad writer, I'm going to get better. The more I do it and the more I seek out ways to improve my writing, I will improve. It's not going to help to just wallow in self-pity by thinking that I'm a bad writer. Question number 4, superpower. What part of writing or the writing process do you feel is your greatest strength? I think that's hard to say, but I think my greatest strength is probably dialogue and character development. My novels tend to be very character driven. Yeah, so I'd say that's where my strength is. Question number 5, kryptonite. What part of writing or the writing process is your weakest? Drafting. Isn't that everybody's weakest? The initial drafting is quite difficult for me, but I feel like I'm getting better at it just over time. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And that's why NaNoWriMo is so important, kids. Go out there and get writing, because you're never gonna get better at drafting until you do it, until you feel like you're going to explode. Number 6, training montage.
My dreams are on you, kid. Go make them come true. Climb that uphill slope. Keep pushing that envelope. You're my one last hope, and kid, it's up to you. Yeah!
What strengths or weaknesses changed over the years, and what have you done over the years to improve your craft? Drafting used to be a strength of mine. I used to just sit down and crank out one book after another in my high school years. And I am no longer that way. I am a much slower drafter now than I used to be. So I guess that's a strength that's become a weakness, but at the same time, it's also kind of a weakness that's become a strength, because I used to crank out drafts really quickly, but I would just write draft 1 and then call it done. Whereas now I am more of a plotter, and so I actually plot everything out before I write that first draft, and it has definitely improved my writing significantly. As to what I've done over the years to improve my craft, I've been watching a heck of a lot of YouTube videos, that's for darn sure. On top of that, I have been trying to read more and more books on writing. I've been doing that for years. Some of them I think are better than others, and again, it's one of those things where there's so much advice out there and you just have to find what works for you. But definitely trying lots of different things I feel like has helped me, even if initially it didn't ring true to me, like, I don't know if that's something that's actually going to help me. I still give it a try, and it works different writing muscles, so to speak. While you should take every piece of writing advice that you receive with a grain of salt, you should still be open to trying things out and not completely close yourself off to advice, even if it just doesn't sound like good advice to you. Give it a try, because you never know what's going to work out for you. I never thought that I would be a plotter, and here I am. Question number 7, weapon of choice.
Quite unique. It was made from this special metal from the heart of a dying star. And when I spun it really, really fast, it gave me the ability to fly.
You rode a hammer?
No, I didn't ride the hammer.
The hammer rode you on your back?
No. I used to spin it really fast, and it would pull me off the...
Oh my God, the hammer pulled you off?
The ground. It would pull me off the ground up into the air, and I would fly. And every time I threw it, it would always come back to me.
What programs have you used over your writing journey, and what is your favorite right now and why? Well, definitely I started out with just pencil and paper when I was a kid, and then that evolved to the computer, and I'm pretty sure I just went straight to using Microsoft Word, which I wish I still had to this day, though I didn't realize what sheer luxury I was living in back then. And then somewhere down the line, I started using Google Docs, and I'm still using Google Docs today. I love it. It suits my purposes right now. I would really like to try Scrivener at some point, and for the last couple NaNoWriMo things, you know, NaNoWriMo last year and then Camp NaNoWriMo this year, I was so determined to win so that I could get that 50% off code for Scrivener, only to find out that there's no edition of Scrivener that is compatible with my laptop that I use, because I use a Chromebook. So dang it, boo! For the time being, I'm using Google Docs. If the time ever comes that we can afford to get a new computer for my husband for school, then I will get the MacBook that he's using, and I will be able to get Scrivener on that and give that a try. But for now, Google Docs suits my purposes. It's convenient. I can get it on any computer as long as I have internet, so it works out just fine for me. And it's free. You can't beat free. Number 8, trusted sidekick.
Holy nutlage! I can't move my feet. I'm stuck to the floor.
Every Batman has his Robin. What is your favorite companion to cuddle or consume? Please don't consume your companion while writing. Has this changed over the years? And if so, does this also differ from daytime to nighttime? So I've already said on my channel a few times that I don't like to eat while I'm writing, so there's no companion that I like to consume while I'm writing. As far as a companion to cuddle, my cat likes for me to cuddle him while I write. I don't really prefer for him to be all over my keyboard, but I do kind of like when he like sleeps there on the back of my desk while I'm writing. That's kind of nice. So I guess I'll say my cat, Simon. All right, on to number 9, Zero to Hero. When you first began this journey, what level of success did you imagine for yourself? Is where you're currently at on your writing journey headed for that destination? And if not, how has your dream evolved over the years? So pretty much ever since I started writing as an 8-year-old, I intended to be a published author someday. That's still my intention, and that's the direction I'm going in. So I'd say, hey, pat myself on the back. Good job, Railee. Way to chase your dreams, even though they haven't happened yet. By golly, they're going to. Number 10, Remember My Name.
Remember my name. I'm gonna live forever.
What authors helped you realize your interest or passion for writing? What books helped shape your writing style, genre of choice, or tastes? Like I said before, what inspired me to start writing was actually my sisters and their ability to tell stories, but I do have to say, the stories that I remember the best as a kid were my oldest sister Rachel. When she was reading the Chronicles of Narnia, she told me and my little sister the stories of the Chronicles of Narnia in her own words, showing us the pictures in the book. And I fell in love with the Chronicles of Narnia stories, and then she did the same thing with Watership Down. So I would say those were probably the 2 most influential books as a child. Author of those 2 books, C.S. Lewis and whoever it was that wrote Watership Down. I'll put it on the screen because I'm too lazy to look it up right now. I'd say they probably were the ones who inspired me, even though really it was my sister Rachel and her storytelling that did it. But as I got older and started reading more, I really liked Dean Hughes and Gerald Lund. Probably Gerald Lund had the biggest influence on my writing style as I was entering high school when I was about 13 years old. That's when I started posting my stories on the internet. And that's when I switched from writing fantasy to writing historical fiction. Question number 11, Marvel versus DC.
Shall we?
Comparison is dangerous. How has comparing your author journey to others dismantled or helped your own? And do you have any advice to overcome this? For me, for the most part, comparing myself to others has actually been helpful because, hey look, they're where I want to be. What have they done to get there, and what can I learn from that? What can I change in what I'm doing? What of their process can I adopt to help me get to where I want to be? I think it's just really important to recognize, even when it looks like somebody's exactly where you want to be, your journey is going to be different, and the steps that they took to get to where they are will not always be exactly the same as the steps it will take for you to get to that spot. So for me, it's actually been really helpful just watching other author tubers and their varying processes. Some of them are traditionally published, some of them are self-published. And in my mind, the one thing that they all have in common is that they have been published, which is what I want. And I know that my journey is going to be different from all of theirs, because even if I want to self-publish or traditionally publish, it doesn't matter. The steps that it will take to get there will probably be different for me because my books are different than theirs. Don't you think about it. Because my books are different than theirs, and it's just gonna be different. I think that's important. You just have to recognize no one is you, and your journey will be different from everyone else's, and that's okay. You're going to go at a different pace than everybody else. You need to learn to be happy for other people's success and to find it inspiring and motivating instead of allowing it to make you feel bad about yourself because you're a different human than they are. I'm a different human. We're all different. Our journeys are going to be different. Our books are completely different. And so I try to just be really happy when I see someone have success. In my mind, it's like, awesome. That means it can be done. Hey, if they can do it, I can do it too. And it doesn't matter how long it takes me or, you know, all the rejection I'm gonna face to get there because I am no stranger to rejection and it's just a part of life. You kind of have to grow a thick skin and get used to it. So I don't know if that really answered that question very well, but that's what I have to say on the subject. Number 12, the obligatory love interest.
Looks like finding a partner wasn't that hard after all.
Looking back on your earliest projects, what genres have you grown to love or hate to write? My earliest writing projects I would definitely categorize as romances, where I don't have anything against romances now. I still enjoy them. I wouldn't say that they are my favorite anymore. I still want there to be romance in my books. That's important. You've got to have that. But I no longer want that to be the main focus of my stories anymore. Yeah, that's it. Because other than that, what I like to write hasn't really changed. I still like writing fantasy, I still like writing historical fiction, I still like trying new things. 13, arch nemesis.
I will hunt my father like a dog and I will tear him apart slowly, piece by piece, until he knows some semblance of the profound and unceasing pain I know every single day.
Anyways, happy trails.
What are the most common excuses you've given to yourself or outside forces you've overcome that have prevented you from writing your story or that crush your confidence? Time management is a big one that kept me from writing for a really long time. I just felt like I never have time or I'm just too tired for this. I just saw writing as like, if I'm going to take the time to write, I have to sacrifice other things in my life, like my social life or my health. Something has to go because there's only so many hours in a day. And how I've overcome that is that I wake up early now and I just do writing before anything else. Probably another thing was feelings of self-doubt, like I'm a bad writer and maybe this is not the course that I should pursue because I'm not good enough. I still get those thoughts and feelings from time to time. I mean, who doesn't? We're only human. But I usually don't let them stick around for too long because I just tell myself, you know what, that's a ridiculous thing to think. It doesn't matter how bad you are at something, it doesn't mean you can't get good at it. I don't care what anyone says, it's true. If you want to be good at something badly enough and you put in enough work, you can be good at anything. And this is something that I want badly enough, so I'm gonna put in whatever work it takes to become good at it. That's that, folks. Bam, bam, bam! Ow, I just hit my elbow. Number 14, superhero name.
What's your name, kid?
The Human Spider.
The Human Spider, that's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
When you began, did you consider using a pen name? If you're using a pen name now, why did you decide to use it? And if not, why did you decide to use your real name? I did use a pen name when I first started posting my stories onto the internet when I was around 13 years old. And the reason being, I just thought you had to, because a lot of, you know, like J.K. Rowling, J.R.R. Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, I was like, oh, that's what writers do. They have to have a pen name like that. And so I published myself as R.M. and then my last name. I'm not going to share it on here because you can still find my stories under that pen name on fictionpress.com. And I don't really want to encourage anyone to go find those because they're not that great. But I used to write under that pen name just because I thought that you had to. And then it just became like, oh, maybe I'm just always going to have this pen name because I just got used to it. And then when I got married and I changed my last name, I was like, well, I can just stick with this pen name. Why not? And then my husband created my author website and he just had my full name. My current full name, Railee Bradshaw. That alone just made me think, why don't I just publish under my name? I can do that. Lots of writers do that. And I don't know why. It was just like, yeah, the name Railee is not that common. I don't think that I'll get mixed up with a lot of other writers. And I like my name, Railee Bradshaw. I think it's got a nice ring to it. I don't know. And honestly, sometimes I still question like, oh, maybe it would be nice not to have my name become so commonplace. But how commonplace is it really gonna be? Like, it's not like I'm gonna be the next, you know, J.K. Rowling or anything like that. So I'm being honest with myself here. Historical fiction is not super popular. I can't imagine that my books are ever gonna get big enough that I will regret using my name. Number 15, Avengers Assemble. tag a few of your favorite people to do this tag on their channel. So this tag has been going on around for a long time, and I don't know who's been tagged or not in it anymore. I feel like I'm kind of like lagging behind everybody else. So if there's anybody who wants to do this tag, please go ahead and do it. I will still try to find some people to tag in this, and I will put their names down here right now, below. You people, whoever you are, you have been tagged by me, and I'd love to see you do this tag if you have the time. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope that you enjoyed this superhero tag, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Would you come and take a walk with me? We'll cross over the mountains and we'll reach the pale blue sea. I love you. I'm so glad